and make sure everything's on live. All right, cool. So everyone likes to buy, right? You think about our conversations. People have dreams of buying a car. They have a dream car they want to buy. No one ever says, I was sold, this car. They say, I bought this car. No one ever says, I was sold this house. They say, I bought this house. So everybody wants to buy. Everybody wants to buy, but no one wants to be sold. You never hear people going out and bragging about how they were sold something. Like, yeah, man, the other day I was sold this, I was sold that. No, but you people say, I went out and bought this watch, I bought this suit, I bought this house, I bought this car. So it's common for us to talk about, brag about, or let other people know what we bought. So buying is something that we like to do. Buying is something that we want to do. Buying is something that's just part of our nature, part of our culture. It satisfies a desire, a need inside of us. So if people want to buy, the key would be not to look at how to sell to them, but look at what drives their buying behavior. Why do people buy stuff? What causes them to take action in the buying process? So I focus with my coaching clients when it comes to developing a revenue mindset. I focus with them on not actually selling, but how do we help people buy, and how do we help people buy more from us? Just changing the conversations, flipping the conversations. So instead of focusing on always trying to sell someone, focus on how do you get them to buy? Because to me, that's the primary reason why we're in business, is to help people, serve people, and I'm serving them by allowing them to buy solutions to their problems, helping them buy the answers to their needs, buy the things that they want. So when I was having this conversation with my client yesterday, it came back to some core principles. There are some principles to the whole buying behavior process. And think about this. Principles are consistent. Mechanisms change. So mechanisms will be the ways people do things. So when I talk about the ways, right? Social media, the internet, those things didn't always exist. So years ago, people didn't place ads on Facebook. They would place ads in a newspaper. But it's still the same premise. It's still the same principle about how to design an ad. It's still the same principle of how to construct an ad. It's still the same principles about how to structure the language in the ad. So when I say principles, principles are the same. Like principles, they never change. But the mechanisms, how we implement the principles, they are always changing. And sometimes what happens is people focus too much attention on the actual mechanism, the way the principle is being used, rather than the principle itself. They put too much attention on the mechanism. They see somebody else using this mechanism and they think it's the mechanism, and they miss the principle. So we always want to be focusing on the principle behind what's happening and not the actual mechanism that's being used, because mechanisms will always change. Principles never change. Mechanisms do. So what are some of the principles around buying behavior? Well, one principle that I learned many years ago, and if you were following me last week with the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, this principle came up. It's about emotions, it's about wants, it's about desires. So people buy based on emotion, but they justify what they do based on logic. So people buy on emotion and justify with logic. They buy on emotion and justify with logic. They buy on emotion and justify with logic. So what emotions are your products or services going to give them? How does your stuff make them feel? What feelings do they want? So if you look at people buy on emotion and justify logically, then a second part to that, so we have like basically a part A and a part B. Part A, people buy based on emotion because we are emotional creatures. We do things based on how we feel. And then we rationalize that behavior later to justify our actions. So then, okay, the second part to that, like a part B would be people buy what they want and not what they need. They buy what they want and not what they need, because what they want causes them to feel a certain way. What they want causes them to feel good. It causes them to, excuse me, to get something that they desire. And what are these wants? What are these needs? So all of it comes down to two basic things. We like to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Human beings like to avoid pain and seek pleasure. So when we look at the emotion, when we look at the wants versus the needs, it's all about what does that thing that you have to offer? What is that product? What is that service? What is that thing that you have to offer? How does it help me fulfill a want that gives me pleasure? And how does it help me avoid a pain that I don't want in my life? That's where we have to structure our conversations. That's where you have to be able to look at what it is that you want to do and how does it help a person avoid pain and help them seek pleasure. But then there's also a third part to this, is that people buy for their reasons and not for yours. They buy for their reasons, not for yours. So my pain, my pleasure may not be the same as someone else's need for pain or desire for pain or want for pain or pleasure. So what it is that I want to avoid may be different than what they want to avoid. What it is that I'm going after is different than what they're going after. And in our conversations, what happens a lot of times for people in business, authors, speakers, coaches, a lot of business professionals, even people in their career who are seeking to present an idea or product or service on their job, they are speaking to the audience based on what they think, what they feel, based rather than looking at what does the audience think, what does the audience feel. It's not about your reasons, it's about their reasons. They're going to do it based on why they want to do it, not based on what you want. So when you think about this last season we came out of with the politics, right? I can look at all the ads on TV and deconstruct them based on these sales principles, whether it was a positive ad or a negative ad. The positive ad, the formula is basically this person's telling you to vote for them because they're going to give you the things that you want. They're talking about all the stuff from an emotional perspective that's going to give you the life, that's going to give your family the life, that's going to help your kids, all based on what you want. And then when you get to the negative ads bring up all the stuff that you don't want. And they attach all the stuff that you don't want to the other person. That says, well, this person is going to do this and do that. And they tell you all the stuff that causes you pain, right? They're giving you all the stuff that causes you pain and saying that person is going to cause you pain. But then the positive ads is like, well, it's attached to me. Like, okay, well, I'm the one that's going to help you out and give you what you want. So they're attaching all the pleasure stuff, the things that are going to help you, the things that are going to be good for you, attaching that to themselves. And then the negative ad is always the pain attached to the other person. So these principles are being used everywhere. But you have to know the principles if you want to be successful when it comes to developing a sales strategy that people buy based on emotions and they justify logically. So when it comes to their voting or whatever it may be, when they buy, the voting is a buying process. The going to the store and getting what you want, it's a buying process. You know, I think about when they have Black Friday. I know this season the sales weren't the same because people weren't going to stores because of social distancing. But, you know, years and years ago, last year, for example, you know, people would be buying a TV on Black Friday. Now, do they need a TV? They probably already had a TV, but they wanted a new TV. It wasn't that they needed it, but they wanted it. So everything that we see being done in terms of sales and marketing, it's all based on what people want versus what they need. It's all based on emotion versus logic. It's based on their reasons, not your reasons. So you have to remember these principles if you want to be successful. So folks, if these videos are helping you, share this out, like the video, join me on my list, reluctantsuccess.com. I'm going to be sharing some of the principles and quotes I've been posting for years. Like people have been asking me, Jerry, where can I get a list of all your quotes? So I'm launching this soon. So if you want to be a part of it, come join my list, reluctantsuccess.com. I want to be dropping this soon. I want to give out a free list of all of the quotes that I've posted on Facebook, all of the, you know, ideas and strategies I've posted. I've been on social media for almost 11 years now. So I've posted a lot of different empowering quotes, and you probably have liked some of them over the years and put some comments on them. So if you want those, I'll be giving out basically like an ebook of all the quotes that you can go through and read. Hopefully make it graphically like pretty so you can really see it. So if that's something that interests you, then definitely go check out reluctantsuccess.com. right now and do that. So until next time, I'll be back later on today at 7 p.m. Remember, 11 and 7 every single day for the whole month of December. So make sure you follow me, Jerry Poe, on Facebook, Jerry Franklin Poe. Just go like my page. So until next time, be valiant, be vigilant, and be victorious.